This is the Hog Central Podcast, sponsored by Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports. And now, here's your host, Steve Sullivan.
Welcome to our first Hog Central Podcast. A pleasure to have the former captain who does, the Touchdown Club, 27 awards. Hey, busy guy, but one thing I want to point out here is we can always judge or gauge the interest in football by your Touchdown Club. And I thought the first week, great crowd for Sam Pittman. He had to move to the State House Convention Center today for Brett Favre, but that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, again, Central Arkansas, sometimes it doesn't reflect, if you look at the numbers at War Memorial, but it's why we started the Touchdown Club here, Sully. People like football here in Central Arkansas and Little Rock. And, monster crowd for Favre today, and I'm really anxious to see what kind of turnout you get Thursday night.
Let's go back to the end of last year, and it got really ugly. Those two losses, I thought Sam Pittman was out. Hunter Yurchek, give him credit. He flipped the narrative with one hire, Bobby Petrino. It changed at that point. He
was the only guy that could have flipped the narrative. There was nobody else out there, and I think it was a name that all the fans recognized. They've always wondered what if he had not had the incident. And so there's no question. I can imagine how ugly the offseason would have been if he had not made that hire. Yeah,
there's a new sign at Memorial where miracles are made. I'm afraid most fans are. I'm concerned they think Bobby's going to make miracles happen right away when it's a new offense, it's new players. I think you got to give him a little time.
Yeah, but you got to give Bobby some credit. Go, listen, this guy's coached Lamar Jackson. He's coached Ryan Mallett. He knows.
And he picked his quarterback.
Got him paid for, all those things. And so, I think this guy, nobody's talking about this guy. Nobody. On all the polls.
Taylor Green.
Nobody's talking about Taylor Green. I mean, nobody. He's in like the 14th. Because nobody's seen him. They've seen some video at Boise, but they haven't seen him in a Bobby Petrino offense where he can run and throw. If those transfer guys can be decent up front, they got a chance to scare some folks on offense.
I saw him at Torchy's in Fayetteville. He's 6'7".
He's big dude. Yeah, I've been around him too.
Hey, talk about being a linebacker and facing a guy that's that fast, that big, that he can take off at any time. And unlike KJ, he's not going to get 5. He's going to get 50.
Yeah, those are the, when you play against guys like that, when I used to play against, say, Bo Jackson or Eric Dickerson, the guys, if you make a mistake, it's 7 for the offense. And that's what he is. I'm going to tell you, he is a track athlete. He is a long jumper. He's a long strider. He can take it to the house. And he's big. He's strong. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on the secondary and the linebackers. And I tell you, you're trying to decide if you're going to defend the run. It's going to be a pass. It's going to be both. It's going to be RPO. So like I said, and then you got a good tight end, and Has coming back. You got decent receivers.
Yeah.
So you got a good running back. Jackson is an excellent running back. So I think it's going to be the key of those 3 transfers or that offensive line.
And Coach says you really can't tell what you have with these new guys. Do you see them under the lights in a game? Because he says he's over the years he's seen players, they look great in practice. They're either up or their game goes down when the lights are on.
He said that at the Touchdown Club. I think if you watch a full hitting practice, it gives you a pretty good idea. So I understand. I asked him, hey, what is your personality of your team? And he goes, I don't know yet. And so you think you'd probably have a sort of a feel of what it would be, but maybe he doesn't. I don't know if this team is going to be a fast team, it's going to be a swarming team, a confident, a high football IQ team. I don't know what they're going to be, but they better have some kind of identity.
You need your good players to be great. Landon Jackson, Luke Cass. By the end of the season, we're talking about first or second team all-conference guys.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you all those guys that were okay. Now, listen, Has was on his way.
Yeah.
Landon Jackson had a game or two, but you've got to be more productive. You've got to have a bigger impact. There's no question about that. So you're right. Again, they've got some guys, but on defense, I don't care if they got 11 guys back. What if show me some production. Be productive in the defensive line. Be productive at linebacker.
Oaklawn Sports is so simple to use, anyone can do it. Probably even an ex-football player.
And you can take it anywhere. Pocket size, sort of like you, Raj.
Small, perhaps, but powerful, like this offer.
Sign up now for Oaklawn Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets.
That's like a do-over in case you make a questionable decision.
Too bad they can't do that for haircuts.
I'm calling your mom.
Now with new and easy funding options. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
There's a stadium debate, but one thing I want to see is them play better in their home stadium because I think outside of Vandy, over the last 5 years, they have the worst home record, and they have an incredible home atmosphere. So I don't know what the disconnect is, but they haven't been able to play well at Reynolds Razorback Stadium on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and those losses hurt the program the most. Those are the ones that really get under the skin of fans because you're going up there to watch it, and you get embarrassed, and so – that Missouri game at the end of the year was about as bad a game. I mean, they basically, I think, had 40 at half and could have had 75 by the end of the third quarter. So I don't know what the deal is, Sully. You would think you would get fired up. So I don't know if maybe Pittman needs to change his emotion, with this team or something. That was last year. Boy, they were flat most of the time, it looked like.
Sam Pittman confirmed today that this is an important season. I mean, this guy barely survived last year. And my fear this year is anything that goes wrong, especially early. I think you got to play well early. If you lose badly at either Oklahoma State or Auburn, it starts to get ugly for Sam Pittman.
Yeah, I think, if you could somehow get one of those, which you think is the tougher of the two? I think maybe Oklahoma State because they've got so many starters. They got a senior quarterback. They got the best running back in the nation. They got all their offensive line. I think Auburn's still a question mark at quarterback a little bit, so – both are tough to win in those environments, though.
Oh, you got to win the close games. What are they, 2-9 over the past 2 years?
Yep.
And I don't know what has been the problem with finishing games.
Got to have that killer attitude. Got to have finish. Got to finish, and they have not been doing that.
Let's talk about the future of War Memorial. If you could read between the lines today with Coach Pittman, if it's his call, 2025 against Arkansas State will be the last game at War Memorial.
Well, I think obviously it's not going to be a great turnout Thursday night. It's Thursday night. It's UAPB. It's work night, all the things. But I'd be curious how that ASU game turns out, Sully. Could that be something that is so strong? In other words, that would be a sellout, you would think.
Oh, without a doubt.
That would be a sellout, and so that's what's been missing.
Yeah.
If that stadium's full, you have a different feel, but it hasn't been full. You know?
I think best for the fans in the state would be have that game every year at War Memorial. But would that be best for the University of Arkansas? And he says he feels bad for the ticket holders in Fayetteville not getting their money's worth, as he says, these past few years.
Well, again,
and the A&M game is going away as far as in Dallas.
That's right. Yeah, again, for people who've lived down here and been here forever, we know the arguments. And if you're not from here, if you didn't live down here, I can see how you take that stance. It's just, I'm telling you, for a while they've been struggling in recruiting in Central Arkansas too. And if not that one game matters everything, but it'd be nice if you could somehow try to figure out a way to have some consistency down there. Maybe it's every other year. I don't know, just something. It's almost like Calipari. Calipari gives it, he gets it. And I know it's different for basketball versus football.
Yeah.
85 versus 15. But I would take my show on the road. Great idea. Great idea, Coach.
He's the only one with that idea.
Great idea.
Hey, but basketball, explain this. Basketball and baseball games in Central Arkansas are events. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care who you play, those packed. And you go years back. I went to my first game was against Rice at War Memorial. What a great experience. Being from Massachusetts, never been to a college game, and hearing them call the Hogs, and it was a terrible opponent, but what a great event it was.
Yeah, do you think, though, Sully, the last 10 years, the lack of success has probably hurt the enthusiasm of going to games? In other words, if this program was top 10, you think they'd have 35,000 people there, or top 15 or top 25? I'd probably think it'd be a better turnout, but people aren't excited about the product either, and that doesn't help you.
The sad thing, you've had so many great finishes. The Miracle on Markham's, the South Carolina finish. I mean, just that's where miracles happen. Memorial Stadium.
And Mike Leach, the great Mike Leach, said it was. Yes. And who was the other guy? Obviously several coaches going there. Of course, that's when it was at his prime. Yeah. He had a full house. I just don't know with the way everybody changes now, watching their own TV at home and 8 TVs at home. I think you have to have a quality opponent. I think you have to have a quality. Either one, you got to be like a top 10 team or have a quality opponent. Because besides that, people don't want to go. And
one reason I hope we have a good turnout on Thursday, this will be the first exposure to Razorback fans for about 40 new Razorbacks. They're going to be seeing fans at a game atmosphere for the first time, and it's going to be pretty neat to them that they can drive 3 hours and still get a great crowd or an enthusiastic crowd.
I wonder if they will appreciate it or not, because if the head coach is not really appreciating it, that's sort of a trickle down effect.
Well, you got you guys from Marshall and Albany. They'll appreciate the crowd.
Yeah, you betcha. You betcha they will. Yeah, but it's just one of those things. I think Sully, with success, everything's better. They've had no success, and then it's a Thursday night and all the things, and how bad it's going to look if we have 35,000 people there.
Yeah, bad.
Light it. We can take people where most people cannot take them.
The generations coming together.
That place was jumping.
The Triple Option, presented by Wendy's, wherever you get your podcasts.
Coach Pittman, is there a number you have out there where it take him to survive?
I think he's got to get to 6. I think 5 he's done. I think he's got to get to 6.
I would think 7.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. Well, if he gets to 6 regular season,
I think the issue I see is if you play well early, you get people excited, and then if you fade late, I mean they're on you. If you get off to a bad start, they bury you before they don't even consider how you finish.
Well, the schedule's so tough this year.
Yeah, and next year, look at your non-conference games. You got Memphis, Notre Dame, Arkansas State.
Well, I just wish they could, pick off one of those 2, Auburn or Oklahoma State games. And I still think Auburn, even though they're very talented, we've at times been able to hang in there with them. And so it worries me a little bit about Oklahoma State. Again, we don't know, Sully. We don't know what this team is going to be. We hadn't been to watch practice. I don't know how good Taylor Green is. He hadn't had one live play.
Sam Pittman at Little Rock Touchdown Club. I thought he was his best, his most confident. He was funny. Do you think it's false confidence, real confidence? Can you read him?
I think he knows he's got to be that way. I think whether or not it's true or not, I can't decide that. I think he knows he's got to show that enthusiasm. And you know what? I hope he believes in this team like he is. But he's got to do that at this point. He's got to, if not this. But it's all about, of course he'll go out and win this game easy, the first game. It's all about that second game. If we compete in that second game, okay.
Well, he saw Mystic Dan win at 18-1, and he saw that first season where he went 3-7 and went to 9 wins.
Yeah.
So he's got it in his mind that it can happen.
Yeah, I think it can. There've been history. Look at even Missouri last year was going into the season 5-7 the year before, whatever it is. Look what they do. So there are new enough elements. Petrino, Green, Jackson, Hasback, 3 solid receivers, 3 transfer offensive linemen. I mean, there's enough there in the mix to go, okay, this is not the same team we had last year.
It's just strange. Outside, you have the expectations. Vegas says 4.5 wins, which seems like a layup. Yeah. They were picked 14th out of 16 teams. Yep. Yet you can flip that narrative if you win those first 2 big games.
Are you kidding?
They're talking playoff if you beat Oklahoma State and then win against Auburn.
It's so weird. I've seen in years past, Sully, that sometimes coaches don't respect how good they think their practice squad is better than it is, and they think they're going to be better. Yeah. And it always worries me. Can you not look at your team and tell? I just don't know. I think we're going to be better. The question is, with that tough schedule, how much better?
Yeah, last season worried me where Sam Pittman has made his career on being an elite offensive line coach. Even if he's the head coach, how could he let that happen?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair question. They either missed on recruiting, they missed in the portal. It just, I saw it in the spring. It's like, wow, man, we've got some kids that are struggling, and it's and they've got a few of them this year. And again, I can't say for sure how good the 3 transfers are. I think they're going to be better. Just hard to tell when you're not showing your scrimmage to everybody, and it's just. But again, I'm just telling you, Sully, if offensive line is a question mark, it's a good thing to have a quarterback like Taylor Green.
Yeah.
Who's 6'6", can run like a deer, can escape, can do the things that. And KJ sort of did that way too, but a little bit different dynamic with Taylor. He's a little bit faster, bigger, stronger, quicker than I think KJ.
Trey Biddy has a line that sticks in my mind. He said, the transfer portal isn't exclusive to Arkansas.
Right.
And what he's seen in the SEC is the bottom of the league has gotten better with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Where you don't have the bad teams like Vandy maybe, but out of the rest, you can't look at a game on that conference schedule and say Arkansas is going to win that game.
No.
On the flip side, you can't say, well, they're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be an underdog, but there's not one out there. There's not that Alabama out there that you usually just scratch off and say, we can't say Texas because, a couple of years ago we just whipped them at Reynolds Razorback Stadium.
Isn't that crazy, too? Again, that shows you how you can change a program from what it was 2 years ago to being a top 10 program. And you saw what happened with Florida State yesterday or Saturday, whatever day it was. And again, with all this transfer portal, I don't know if anybody really knows their teams anymore until they play a few times and know what you're dealing with. I mean, obviously, if you got 18 returning starters back, you do. But for us, if you fill in gap through transfer portal, man, how good we're going to be. It's going to be interesting to watch.
How important is it for Sam Pittman to get off to a good start? Maybe you go 3-1,
ooh, yeah,
or 4-0. If you go 2-2 with an ugly loss in there.
Yeah, I think most people are expecting maybe 2 losses to be obviously Oklahoma State and Auburn. But, if you could just get one of those, Sully, if you could just somehow pick off one of those. Because it doesn't get any easier. You got a rough schedule.
You were a linebacker. You got a whole set of new linebackers.
Yeah.
You got one returning, Brad Spence. How hard is it to get some cohesiveness and start trusting the guys with you?
Yeah, they got to just learn the system. Yeah, and I've heard good things about them. I've seen a little bit of them, and they look physically pretty good. And again, we'll see in game time because I can't remember seeing them in game time looking. And maybe we need to do more game time. But listen, linebacker we needed more and depth and improvement. So we'll see it. Most of those guys, from Florida State, Georgia, whatever, they're all recognizable schools they've transferred from.
Usually the difference between an Alabama and Georgia and Arkansas, and you've pointed out before games, the eye test, especially on the defensive line. At least this year with like Landon Jackson and Cam Ball and Gregory, they're big and they're old. If you're going to strike as a defensive line, this would seem to be the year to do it. Yeah,
they have experience. Some will say, I think it was Thanos and the Avengers that said, I think he said, losing is not good. Losing is not a good experience. I don't want that experience. And they came back and said, experience is experience. No, it's you want to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. You don't want to lose. But here's the deal, Sully. I think that there's enough there to make me go, I'm not going to make a decision until I watch a game or two. I just don't say you can. I mean, besides just the player transfer, you got Bobby Petrino. So no telling what he could be up to. I just think that he might surprise everybody. Why can't we be the Missouri story this year? Who else was another one last year that sort of, okay, wow.
Yeah. And Taylon Green, he wasn't the guy really at Boise State. He flashed and showed things. Now he's the guy. And we really don't know what his full potential is, and hopefully we'll see it under Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, I think Petrino wouldn't lead us wrong. I think what you're hearing from Petrino is a good thing. And so, listen, in Bobby we trust. I have no problem, believing that he's going to make us better. Yeah, he will make us better, even if, say, the offensive line still maybe not be as good as it needs to be.
I like the fact that there was no quarterback controversy. He bought his quarterback, and it seemed like day one of the spring, Taylon Green was running with the first team.
Yeah, when that much money is spent on a player, Sully, whatever it is, there's not going to be probably anybody spending much money on what's behind him.
And quickly, the NIL, has it changed the way you think about college football when you see these guys making hundreds of thousands?
A little bit. Yeah, I don't like it as much. I don't mind the kids getting some money, but it's just like, just don't like the mechanics of it. I don't like there's no rules, but this is years of TV money pouring in and everybody getting a piece of the pie except the players, and this is a result,
All right. I appreciate you, Baz. Any predictions on the season as far as are you
taking
a wait-and-see approach?
Yeah, I had to look at the Oaklawn Sports app to see what all my options are here. But I'm going to be more confident. I'm going to be a little bit more confident because I think there's enough there. There's enough meat on the bone to let me maybe push up a point or two or whatever, a game or two, whatever.
I just thought that 4.5 wins was too good to pass up.
You think it's too good because you think it should be?
I think they're going to win more than.
Yeah.
They were so bad last year with 4 wins.
If I'm going to lay money, which I'm thinking about doing, I would lay it on the Razorbacks to win more than 4 games.
Think about this: if you get one win over Oklahoma State or Auburn, that really makes it. You're going to win 3 in the non-conference. You just need one more. One more.
Where's that one going to come from?
And they've been competitive outside of 2 games under Sam Pittman.
They have. Now, listen, that's what I'm saying. I think they got a chance. Listen. I just need to see some. I need to see some guys believing, that they can.
Well, I appreciate you changing the vibe with your baseball jersey today.
Yes, how about that? Yeah, bring a little baseball magic. Baseball magic to the football Hogs. But this is really a fancy deal.
Hey,
here.
Thanks for making history.
Yeah.
And thank you to Oaklawn Park for sponsoring us.
Yeah, this is gonna be a blast. I hope we have plenty of good to talk about.
Yeah, I was at the casino yesterday placing that bet on the 4.5.
Well, listen, whatever you do, Sully, I'm going to follow you. You're the experienced one there.
All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week after what should be a Hog win.